Broadcasting to the Wizarding World since 2008.
HPA&A's official Harry Potter podcast.
Official Harry Potter podcast.
This is Hogwarts Radio. This is Hogwarts Radio, episode 215 for September 25th, 2018. Hogwarts Radio is HPA&A.com's podcast discussing all things Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and the rest of the Wizarding World. For the quickest up-to-date news on the franchise, make sure you check out HPA&A.com. Hello, everyone, and this is Hogwarts Radio, broadcasting to Harry Potter fans worldwide since 2008. I'm Terrance Pinkston.
I'm Bailey Riddle.
I'm Luke Hogan.
And I'm Gretchen Rush.
Our show can be found virtually anywhere online, such as iTunes, the Google Podcast app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and other places where podcasts are aggregated.
It doesn't matter where or how you listen, just make sure to tap the subscribe button, and we guarantee you'll have a new episode each Sunday.
HogwartsRadio.com is in the middle of a complete redesign. In the meantime, we invite you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you never miss an update from the show.
Hogwarts Radio is also on Patreon. By pledging, you'll have instant access to many benefits, including exclusive merchandise, host vlogs, behind-the-scenes planning of the show, Hogshead Radio, and much more. Visit patreon.com/Hogwarts Radio to sign up today. Welcome, everybody, to episode 215 of Hogwarts Radio, and we're here today, midweek, to discuss a lot of developments that have happened in the past couple of days, and my head is still spinning. I don't know if my head's still spinning from the plane ride over here or if it's spinning from all the information that we got. Regardless, we have a lot to talk about today.
Terrance heard that there was the new trailer dropped, and he's like, and he jumped on a plane to get back here for this episode.
I did.
Forget Europe!
I have to go!
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Well, we're glad you're back. We're glad you can make it back safely to be with us.
I am.
Of course, it dropped while you were in the air.
It did, and I didn't see it until this evening. Still, my reaction to it, I'm sure, would have been the same if I saw it with everybody else this morning whenever it came out. But there was a lot of good information in this trailer, and it really started with yesterday. There was some event happening in New York City yesterday. Gretchen, you want to walk us through that?
So yesterday, J.K. Rowling and the cast of Fantastic Beasts went on the Today Show, and basically all they said was, "Hey guys, come back tomorrow." And everyone was like, "Oh, okay, cool." But they did drop some new posters yesterday, so we can talk about those. And then today they went on the Today Show again, and that was when they dropped the trailer and J.K. Rowling did an interview.
So there was 2 days of the Today Show.
2 days of today.
2 days of today.
The 2-day show. There was
a lot of fans. I call them the elite slug club, and they got the opportunity to go to the Today Show where they film right outside, and the actors of the Fantastic Beasts film came out and gave them some swag. You know, a T-shirt, a wand. Some of our friends were lucky enough to be in that plaza, and all I heard was nothing but good things and a really positive experience, and people freaking out over meeting J.K. Rowling because, hey, they got the opportunity to meet her.
It seemed like a really cool experience, and it was kind of like a whirlwind. We didn't really know that this was happening until maybe a week ago. Mm-hmm. They said that she's going to be on today, so it really was a very abrupt thing, and we're like, oh, we're definitely getting the trailer once we heard that. But before that, no one had any idea what was going on.
So as we said, we did get a few new posters yesterday, and we're going to kind of walk through these just a little bit. I know this episode is more focused on our trailer discussion, but I feel like these are really important to talk about. For example, Lita Lestrange, she is facing to the right on her poster, and that's very important in these posters. The way the characters are facing, the way they're looking over their shoulder. Her tagline on her poster says, "Implicated by prophecy," and her frame around her picture is highlighted by a crow on the corners. Now, just in this one picture, there's a lot to talk about. For example, what do we think Lita's prophecy is? That's a big unknown right there.
Yeah, I have no idea. Did we know anything about this prophecy before this poster?
I didn't think there was no mention of a prophecy as far as I knew.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is, big news.
The crows on the corners, so the internet kind of tore this little bit apart and found out that Corvus Lestrange is her father, and crows are a part of Corvus's, a Reddit post said Genus or Genus. Maybe that was shorthand for something, but Corvus Lestrange has something to do with crows, apparently. Theseus, is that how you say his name? Theseus, Newt's brother, is facing to the right, and his tagline says, under ministry orders, and the frame has ministry markings and an upside-down Deathly Hallows symbol at the top. So these posters, if you're looking at them, I mean, they just give an extreme amount of detail about each character and what each character is going to face in this movie. So
Theseus looks like he's up to no good.
I like the idea that he works for the ministry. I'm curious to see how that comes into play, especially since they make it clear in this poster that he's been sent by the ministry.
You think he's kind of that Percy Weasley-esque figure who's really serious about his job and, it's all for the good of the ministry, and, we have to do what the ministry says, and the ministry this, and the ministry that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there could be a hint at that, but I have a hard time thinking they're going to bring a very similar character, like the overly ambitious character again. I don't know. I guess they could, and that could be a big point of contention, but I feel like the bigger point of contention is going to come in with whatever this love relationship with Lita Lestrange, whatever that is going on is. I think that's going to be a bigger part of what's going on between those two characters.
So let's talk about Credence. And if you want to scroll and look at Credence's poster, he is facing the opposite way. He's facing to the left. He's looking really dapper. Everybody's looking real dapper with this hat and
the style, yeah.
The styling, yeah, absolutely. His tagline says, searching for identity, and his frame has lots of hands and lines with dots at the ends, possibly like with him releasing the Obscurus. And even on the back of his jacket there, you could see the handprint. But, he's searching for identity. He's wondering how he fits into this world. I feel like that's the journey we're going to see Credence go through in this particular movie.
I'm excited about that. I think that'll be awesome. I'm ready for more Ezra.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming from a place that, we saw him get pretty blatantly used pretty badly, right? So he's going to have a little bit of a fallout from that and, be looking for, hey, somewhere I belong, a little Hercules from Disney reference there for you. But I feel like it kind of fits. He's been outcasted, he's been used, and now he's looking for somewhere that he fits.
Mm-hmm. Albus Dumbledore. Let's talk about Dumbledore. He is facing to the left. His tagline says, under surveillance. And his frame has presumably phoenixes in the corners. And a very important point here is that he has a different wand than we've previously seen. And we saw him with a wand that kind of looked like the Elder Wand in the previous trailer that we had gotten, in the previous promo pictures that we have seen of him. So it's really cool that this is possibly Dumbledore's original wand.
I like this wand. It looks like a needle, like a very fancy needle.
It does.
It does. I think it's very Dumbledore.
Yeah, it's I don't know, masculine in a soft feminine kind of way, if that makes sense. Like, it's got some curves to it, but it definitely has like a masculine feel to it, and it looks powerful but elegant, kind of all wrapped up in one. It's a really neat form. I like it.
It's hip. Like Dumbledore.
Look at that collar.
Can't deny Dumbledore's got style.
He's got style. Yeah, the collar, the hat.
Look at that. Looking good.
His face.
Little bit of gray gristle in the beard there.
Man,
so good.
Needs to just for men that or something.
He did the touch of gray.
So let's talk about Newt. He is facing to the left. His tagline says, wanted for questioning. And his frame has bowtruckles in the corner. What I really like about Newt's and really all of these is that the tone is just so serious, you know? It's like you have to constantly look over your shoulder because either somebody's coming after you or somebody's watching you, you know. Newt has the pop Ralph Lauren polo collar look, you know. He's looking real fresh with Pickett right there hiding in his collar. But I really like the fact that this kind of sets the tone for the movie as well.
Yeah, I like the Wanted poster style of look here. It was really cool. And actually the only person who is smiling is Queenie, which is weird because she's the one I'm most suspicious of.
Ooh, Queenie. Yeah, let's talk about Queenie. Let's talk about Queenie. She's got that Kelly McGillis Top Gun, you know, look about her. I mean, she looks really devious in this. You can almost tell there's a hint of a smirk. You know, her brow is just really on point. She's just kind of glancing over her shoulder like, hey, you know, I'm up to no good. And it's really unsettling because this kind of makes me wonder about her allegiance.
The illustrations in the corner of hers are really interesting. They almost look like the ring with the stone in it.
And that's what I initially thought as well. Some people I was reading on Reddit saying, oh, it's an engagement ring, but I don't think so. I think
also horrible plot.
Yeah,
I'll walk out if that's Queenie's plot. Alison Suttle hasn't been able to say a single thing about the movie because she's hiding the fact that they got engaged. I'll quit.
She's trying to keep a low profile. Her tagline says whereabouts unknown. So
we know nothing. We know nothing about Queenie, and I'm so invested in it. I'm so into it.
You know, I wonder if Tina knows where she is, or if Queenie just kind of disappeared after the last film. You know, because they were together a lot. You almost couldn't separate them. So it's very interesting. Let's talk about Tina. Tina is facing to the left. Her tagline says on foreign assignment, and her frame has an Eiffel Tower. So, I mean, it's easy to put two and two together with that on foreign assignment to Paris, presumably.
That's a pretty big assumption, you know?
Is that where the Eiffel Tower is? I don't know.
I thought she's going to Las Vegas. 40 years before that happened.
She does have the pop collar look as well. You know, all I can think about is pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
Is that a historically accurate fashion choice? That's all I want to know.
Well, I would assume so. I feel I'm well educated in fashion, and I feel like people have been popping their collars for years, for hundreds of years.
I mean, ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar.
Let's get into Gellert Grindelwald. He is facing to the right. His tagline says Dark Wizard at Large, and his frame has a skull, and I thought that was a flame, some sort of like an early dark mark, perhaps.
I could see that, or it almost kind of looks flowery a bit. I think
I wouldn't associate Grindelwald with flowers.
Yeah, I was thinking like a tail or a like a cord, like the end of a cord. His is the only poster that has people in the background, which is fun.
Yeah, the Elder Wand is looking less phallic in this.
Good job.
Sorry. I had to say that. It's the beads on the wand are looking more well flush within the wand itself. You know, it doesn't look like somebody had put kebabs on the wand. So, I mean, that's just what I noticed about that. I think Johnny Depp looks great in this poster. And last but not least, let's talk about Jacob Kowalski. He is facing to the left. His tagline says, "No madge of interest." His frame has croissants on the bottom, which is
I love that
which
so
is
much.
really cool.
So good.
But does anybody else notice that he's kind of got this smoldering look? Like whenever he's looking over his shoulder to his left, and he stops and he smolders. Or am I the only one that noticed that?
He's doing the Flynn Rider.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Does anybody else notice that?
He looks like he's posing for a GQ shot. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
And
he looks concerned about something. That's what I get from it. That's the way his eyes are. I feel like he's looking back and is wary. Is the feeling I get from him here. I don't get much confidence from him here, if that makes sense.
His I guess he's not part of the cool kids club. His collar is not popped.
Yeah.
No,
you can't pop
Wizards
it open
only.
like that. Yeah, wizard. That's a no madge thing.
So
Always behind the times.
So overall, let's kind of just take a look at the whole picture here of all of these posters. Who has the wands? Dumbledore, Grindelwald, and Lita.
I don't know why Lita would have hers. Something to do with the prophecy, maybe?
Maybe this is where the power lies.
That's very interesting. And I like her wand.
It's really pretty. I like the gold accent on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I was trying to zoom in to see if there was like if there's any symbols on that or anything. I'm really not seeing anything. It just may be like a kind of
just
a black
decorative
design. Yeah, black decorative design. And then the reason why I was with each character, I was saying they're facing to the left, they're facing to the right. So everybody that we see, like, okay, Dumbledore's facing to the left, Credence is facing to the left, Kowalski's facing to the left, we have Newt facing to the left, and Tina facing to the left. And then everybody else is kind of facing to the right, and everybody else is kind of in question, as far as allegiances.
Queenie, though, we don't know really what her story has in store for her, so maybe something weird.
I feel like this is exactly what I would have assumed the more insidious characters. We don't know anything about Lita, and we don't know anything about Theseus, and I think there's been hints that they're not necessarily working for the good guys, being Dumbledore and Newt. We don't know, and we know there's been a falling out between the brothers. So I'm not too surprised that they could potentially be on a negative path. I don't want to say evil or anything like that, but not necessarily working in the same direction as Newt and Dumbledore. And I think we've talked about how Queenie could very easily be used by other people for her powers and brought down a path like that. Maybe not by her choice, but some actions she may take could be potentially negative. The one that I find most interesting, I think, is Credence looking to the left. If this is a good v evil differentiation that we're supposed to make here, like he's the one that I would question, that I'm the most questionable of, just from where he's been, and again for how powerful we know that he is, and a little bit of a loose cannon. So I think it's reassuring. It's kind of cool that he's facing the quote unquote good guy way.
But do you know who else is facing the left? Nagini.
Oh,
if you look at her poster, she's facing the left, and her tagline says aiding a fugitive. So I think we're meant to believe that Nagini and Credence are maybe on the correct side here.
Good. I like that.
I like it too. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, so hers, you said, came out today, so it's not in this.
They released hers after they dropped the trailer because obviously spoilers. So
that is very interesting, because you kind of wonder, how does she end up on Voldemort's side later down the line? So if she is aiding a fugitive, yeah. Well, these posters, you can check them all out over on hpana.com as well. And if you have access to our Patreon show document, we do have the links in there as well. Okay, guys, let's move into the actual trailer discussion here. There's really a lot to get to with this, so we're going to kind of break it down as easy as we can. And Luke is kind of going to take the reins on this, and we'll go just like we have been over the past couple of trailers, and we'll just go scene by scene and talk about a couple of things in each scene, and I think that's about it. So Luke, you want to go ahead and kick it off?
We have the opening scene with Dumbledore and Newt kind of hanging out on a bus, and so it looks like Dumbledore is clearly, as we know, working with Newt to get him to Paris, and it almost seems like he's trying to protect him here from something, or is he just saying, hey, this is a place for you to go to? What do you guys get from that?
Yeah.
Well, now based on the poster that said like he's wanted for questioning or something, it makes me think that Dumbledore knows that, and he's trying to get Newt to like a safe place. Maybe it's like when they have to put you in witness protection because of something you saw. So he thinks maybe that Grindelwald's followers are going to go after Newt.
I think that since, and we saw this in the previous trailers, with Newt kind of ripping, I don't know if it's this particular card up that Dumbledore gives him, and then kind of Newt repieces it back together later on. But I think Newt just kind of takes this and he's like, no, I don't think I need to go into hiding or anything like that. And Dumbledore's like, no, you need a vacation. Take it easy. Here, go to this safe house. Eat this. Trust me, it helps. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, That's all I've gotten from that.
My brothers, my sisters, says Grindelwald. We clearly, right in there, saw the Thestrals,
Yes.
which look pretty sweet. I think they look pretty awesome.
And then this magic enchantment that presumably locks the carriage. This is really neat.
It reminds me of the vaults in Gringotts.
Yeah, yeah. That same kind of effect.
Is it in movie 5 or is it in movie 7 when they're locking down the castle and they show the big front door locking up like that? I feel like Umbridge was involved, which is why I'm thinking it might have been 5, but it makes more sense to be 7, obviously. That's why I'm confused. But do you remember which one I'm talking about, where there's this 20-foot door and it closes and then they kind of locks?
Yeah,
that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah,
I'll tell you which one it is, but I know the scene you're talking about.
So whatever that was pretty cool. Grindelwald sitting on a chair again, so here you can see him. And this kind of red magic ball kind of erupts from him or around him. It's kind of hard to tell. And I don't know, do you guys think that is something that he is doing, or do you think that's something that they do to him when they imprison him?
I think that's somebody kind of breaking him out, or maybe testing the enchantment, because if you go through it really slowly, it looks like there's a flash of light that comes in through the back and hits whatever this force field is that's protecting Grindelwald.
This field reminds me of the protective enchantments around Hogwarts that we see in the 8th movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, gotcha. The big dome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there is a little white ball that kind of comes in from the side and hits him. So yeah, I wonder if that's someone trying to break him out. That's, I think, a pretty good catch. And then we have the Thestrals flying out like Lego sets. And then
that familiar scene that we've seen with Tina before. And I'm actually glad, going back to the whole Grindelwald escape, I'm actually glad that we're seeing a little bit more of that. And I know we're going to see more in the upcoming scenes. But it's kind of like one of those things, like, I wonder how he did it. I wonder how they broke him out, or how he escaped on his own. You know, I want to see just a little bit more behind that without it giving everything away.
So my question to all 4 of us, really, does he A, break himself out, or does he have outside help? What are your thoughts?
Oh, he's got to have some sort of outside help at first, you know, to kind of maybe break an enchantment or two. And then once he gets his hand on a wand, that's when nobody can stop him.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
I think he would need help.
Yeah.
So do you think he somehow asks for help, or someone tries to break him out of their own accord? That's the third option, I guess.
I think that somebody is breaking. He doesn't have to ask anybody. Like, he has all these loyal followers, right? He's built this following already, and these people are loyal to his cause and are going to do everything they can to break him out and protect him at the same time.
How much of a following has he actually built before the first movie, though? I mean, the whole first movie was just hanging out as Graves he was hanging out as Colin Firth.
Right.
Colin Farrell, not Colin Firth.
Well, but people still knew of his name. I think he was just incognito in the first film, but he had amassed some sort of a following before that.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like a whole auditorium full of people. You know, it could be like just a small group of people. Like Voldemort, whenever he started out, had a small group of Death Eaters, and then he kind of built his following. You know, it just kind of grew after that. So Grindelwald might have his own inner circle that is always loyal to him and is always protective over him. And then, you know, same much as we heard in the first trailer, and we hear him talking about in the second trailer, you know, he's trying to gather more followers. So I think that's what ultimately happens. So yeah, we've seen this scene with Tina, and this statue come into life, or this person pretending to be a statue. I mean, that's nothing new. We've already gone through that in the previous trailer.
So we also see Credence, looks like, in a cage.
So do we think that somebody captured him, or I don't know why he would be in a cage.
I thought that was him looking at her.
Yeah, I think she's inside the cage and he's watching from the outside.
Oh, really?
With everybody else.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just the way that the light hit it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the way that they cut those scenes. That's how you're supposed to think this is going.
Right. It does look kind of weird, though.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way.
So, Luke, what do we got next?
Luke is muted.
Sorry, I was talking the whole time. So then we have a slow motion Nagini turning into a snake. And what I was saying about the last scene is I think it is kind of cut that way to make you think he's looking at it, but it's hard to tell because this looks like the cage wraps all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like in Credence's picture, that doesn't look like it continues off to the left of the screen.
Right.
Like, so that's the only reason I thought he looked more like a cage. But yeah, very well could be him just watching this as well. So cool looking snake. Pretty convincing CGI there.
And this,
yeah, that's
unless
the
they
important thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
This is probably one of the biggest reveals in this franchise so far, and how it ties into the franchise that we love, the Potter series. We know this Maledictus character, and we can confirm our theories now that she is Nagini.
Yeah, that is definitely pretty unexpected. Like I don't know if anyone would have called that Nagini was anything more than a snake. There may be theories out there. I don't think I've seen any in the past, but there are other animal characters that people have guessed are something more. I haven't heard too much on Nagini, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone thought it was more of an animagus. And obviously a Maledictus is a little different, not the same thing.
Why does he whisper her name?
Maybe it's some kind of enchantment?
Right, that's a theory I've seen.
The snake?
I've always wondered, what does Nagini mean? So a Nagini is someone who is sly. They lie about situations. A Nagini is not one to be trusted. They're a two-faced snake. This is all from Urban Dictionary, folks.
Nice.
Highly reliable.
Don't trust him. He's a Nagini. I don't know where that accent came from.
I mean, Wikipedia says Nagini is a female counterpart for a class of entity or being that takes the form of a large snake. I feel like that pulls directly from this trailer. I don't know how accurate that is.
The entry was made at 3 p.m. on September 25th, 2018.
It is definitely Latin. So, I mean, I'm wondering if it's just kind of like an enchantment. He whispers the name, and that's how she turns into the snake.
I have so many questions, though. I don't get this, and I don't like it. Do you guys like it?
What?
Like what? The Maledictus?
I don't like. No, the Maledictus is fine. I hate that it's Nagini. I hate that she did that, and I don't know why she did that.
Why do you hate that she did it?
I mean, I guess I have to see what happens, but it just seems like she really, really wants to make this a prequel to Harry's world, and I don't know why. We already have characters who connect. We have Dumbledore back. Does every single thing need to lead back to Harry? Why does she have to be Nagini? And also, why do we have to know about it in the trailer? Like, if it's going to be this mind-blowing thing, why would you release it before the movie's even out?
Maybe there are bigger surprises we're going to learn in the movie, and this is pales in comparison.
Well, I hope they're good.
All right, bring your A game. Gretchen's waiting.
I just want an original story, you know?
Like, there's never gonna with this.
Yeah.
The thing is with this Wizarding World is it's always gonna tie back to Harry. It's always gonna tie into Harry. There's always gonna be a piece,
but it doesn't have to.
No, but it does. I mean, it has to because it's all intertwined. It's all one story. It's all one world. You know, but I mean,
no. I guess we're looking for the movie that's like 200 years after Harry dies.
Yeah, no. Then they're gonna talk. They're gonna be talking about let's sing the hymn from The Boy Who Lived.
And you'll be like, I get it. It's about Harry.
That's it. All praise the chosen one.
Oh my God. Let's move on in the trailer.
All right. So this next scene, Grindelwald walking out onto the parapet.
Really, all hell. It feels like all hell is going to break loose. Grindelwald, as we said, Grindelwald got his wand and is looking much more fearful in these upcoming shots that we're seeing.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. I'm having a hard time even keeping up with it at 0.25% speed. But I'm a little confused on this because it looks like the beginning of this segment here, you can see here, this is right where the Thestral carriage starts flying out, right? I mean, he's not in the carriage. Is this already after they dropped him off? But then kind of as we continue forward, it looks like it circles around and it's flying at him, and it looks like he's attacking it. And he's got whatever these snake-headed monster, I don't know if it's supposed to be some kind of small hydra or something. I don't know, I'm a little confused on what's going on here.
Yeah, well, like you said, there is a lot going on. There's a lot of magic being used. These protections, I'm assuming, for this carriage are coming at him, and he's just really giving it everything that he's got. He's throwing water at it. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a literal sense, but I'm saying he's casting a spell that's filling this carriage with water. It explodes. One of the doors explode off. He jumps in. He throws somebody out of it. It looks like,
I think the guy that's inside the carriage whenever it's being filled with water.
Right.
By the way he's reacting to it. And so there's the water, obviously. So yeah, then the door gets blown off, and there goes, I think, that guy. Whoever that is. I don't think we've seen him before.
Yeah, possibly
So glad he's in the trailer.
just a ministry official, maybe overseeing Grindelwald's transfer.
Well, so this makes me think differently about the escape. To me, it seems like he escapes
using
then he's
this.
Stealing what?
Yeah, that he escapes using the thestral and the thestrals in the carriage. Here, it seems like he's actually
That's what I've assumed beforehand. But it looks like he gets out without that, and then this is almost like someone trying to capture him back that's going after him, and he hijacks it basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's different than what I expected. Any other thoughts on this sequence here?
It's actually the first one of the first major sequences that we see Johnny Depp using this powerful magic, or Gellert Grindelwald using this very powerful magic, and really showcasing the kind of power that Grindelwald has, that he's known for.
Here's our classic
rolling over the rolling hills and Hogwarts.
Still looks good.
We're home again, folks.
Love the candles. Always look good.
It's great to see the Great Hall again in the fashion that we know it is. I mean, not blown half to bits like the last time we saw it in Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is actually all together. So it kind of feels like home. Now, I wonder, did they use the sets from the WB Studio Tour, or did they build entirely new sets for these? Like the new Great Hall set.
I don't know. I mean, I would think it would be easiest to use the sets that's already existing,
mm-hmm.
but I doubt they closed down the studio tour for that long to it. Who knows?
I want to say that whenever they finished filming the series, they kind of tore down all the sets, and then for the studio tour, they rebuilt them. So those were actual sets that nobody's filmed in yet, and I'm kind of wondering if that's what they were using for these particular shots. Be cool if they did.
So then we kind of come out of Hogwarts, and we see a scene that we've seen before already, and it's Grindelwald kind of walking in middle of a town, and
mm-hmm.
I guess we're supposed to think that he's starting to look for followers and all of this, and he's looking around.
Yeah,
and then he's in his little auditorium area doing some pretty impressive magic.
He's singing,
and blows out the side of a mountain.
He's singing "Let It Go."
Let It Go.
Yeah.
He's killing it too.
Absolutely.
You guys can't hear it, but we can hear it.
Yeah.
It's really
Grindelwald, so.
That's kind of scary that he has that power to be able to blow off a chunk of that mountain. It's really
I think
unsettling.
That's potentially cut in a way to make
Weirdly.
you think that. Yeah, I don't think this auditorium is in
Has
a
a mountain?
cave in the mountain.
Well, obviously not. But okay, never mind. That was cancel that. That was stupid of me.
I think they're trying to make it look like that because it's right when he kind of flicks his arms up, and then they quickly cut to the outside of the mountain face that blows out the side. But
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like right whammo, like maybe it is.
Blam! The mountain over there.
Bam.
Mhm.
Is this in New Zealand? I mean, come on, we've seen this with Lord of the Rings before.
Yes, it's very familiar. Why
That's-
are they even showing us this?
That's whenever Saruman brings down the mountain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or it reminds me of when you first fly in the beginning of Two Towers, I believe, and you go back to see the Balrog fight with Gandalf.
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I don't watch those movies every single night. Don't judge
Nope.
me.
Why would you? They're terrible.
They're not.
Just kidding.
I do watch them.
Just kidding. Seen them a million times.
That's Luke's bedtime music.
Literally. So then we kind of we see Tina again, right? And she's kind of walking through this carnival, this circus area, is what we're supposed to believe, I would think. So I wonder if she's looking for Credence.
This scene that we see the back of Tina, we can see the people running away from this particular creature, I guess, who's having his way, who's trying to look for like a snack or something. I don't know.
Now, this is the
seems
one
like
with the big tusk, right?
Yeah. Seems like all hell is breaking loose right then and there. So
Does anyone
fun
remember
stuff.
the name of the creature?
Zawu. Zawu?
Zawu.
Zawu.
Zowa. Yeah, that's right.
Creepy. That's what it is.
Zoe
Going to
Deschanel.
town. So then it looks like we have obscurial action flying through town. Is that?
And I think that we've seen this before. If we pause it and look at that particular frame of the obscuri making its way through this city, we can see that it's already covered like one entire side of a building, and then this other part of the obscuri is seeking its other target. So yeah, nothing too new with that.
There was also a theory that was not the Obscurial, and it's actually the Lethifold. I can't remember if we talked about that before.
No, we hadn't.
Yeah, so some people were thinking that because of the way it looked more like a Lethifold, which is like a cloth-like beast that suffocates its victims.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That kind of tracks.
Yeah. It makes more sense as to why it's split too. Like, why would part of the Obscurial be left behind? Like, the drapes over the building in the background really throw me off on that being an Obscurial. I like the Lethifold idea. That makes a lot more sense. So then we roll forward a bit, and we see old Newt. There he is. We see some magical flames back at the circus area, and then we are down under the city, it looks like. And is this... Let's see, who was it that walked in? We see Tina down here, I believe.
And that's really...
Is it Newt that walks in? I believe so, with the case there.
And
Hard to tell, but...
That's really interesting, because I remember us talking about that in its first... Whenever we first saw it, we saw, what was it, Dumbledore kind of breaking down these pictures on the walls of, it looked like a family tree, and I remember us talking about this and saying that this was somebody's office, somebody's setup. They were obviously hiding, and they were kind of piecing things together on their own. And I know I didn't initially think that it was Tina, but we can clearly see now, yeah, that's who it is, who's down here doing their work.
Well, potentially. It seemed... I think you could also look at it as she's trying to find Credence. And I know one of our first theories was this was where Credence was kind of hiding away. And the scene a little bit ago, it looked like she was maybe... I feel like it makes sense for her to try to be searching for him. I don't exactly know why, but I mean, I know that they've had a little bit of a relationship. Just they know each other, and she knows he's got issues. And she could be trying to help him, and could be part of her investigation into trying to figure out where he is.
Or this could be where he is, and she found it, and then Newt followed her, found it right after she found it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
of course,
very
if
true.
he's not, in a cage.
Right. Maybe he's in that
Or maybe
cage.
this is where you go to have tea.
Could be.
So then we come out of the sewers with the turtles and all of that, and it looks like we see more of this. I'm gonna go with Lethifold, kind of covering the city. There's a ton of them. There's so many.
Yeah,
covering this entire city.
You can see the Eiffel Tower
really
in the
cool.
background as well.
Yeah, that does look really, really cool.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Yeah.
And it just looks scary and frightening. So we see Queenie for the first time, correct?
Finally, yeah.
Minute 5 in, and she sees a little bird on the wall.
That's nice. It's going to be a good plot for Queenie.
Finding birds on walls.
Queenie finds the birds.
So she's
Easter egg in town.
She's not in her normal. I normally associate Queenie with pink. Is that more or less correct from the first movie?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, and she's kind of dressed.
Drabber.
Yeah, really blah. Really neutral colors in this. She's wearing something that's black, and then over it, she's wearing this brown/tan overcoat, and really looking like she's trying to blend in. I wonder what she has around her neck. That is interesting. I don't know what that is.
So then we pull away from finding birds on walls and see our old buddy Nick.
Yeah,
So good.
Nicky.
So he's got the hair blowing in the wind. Something's flying around.
Nicky.
That's, I think, all we get there.
That's it. That's it. Obviously, some sort of big event is happening. There's sparks flying around. There's
Just enough of a tease to make you want to know what's going on.
Exactly. After that,
Yeah. I'm wondering what those sparks would be. If it's from a beast, if it's from... Because right now, the only characters that we've seen interact in other things with Nicholas Flamel have been Newt and Kowalski, right? So I wonder if this is maybe their arrival of some sort, or maybe their departure. He's watching them go sail off into the sunset. So we go back up on the roof, which we've seen these shots from the very beginning, right? We've seen these for a while now. Dumbledore being met by Newt on the roof.
Mm-hmm. Nothing new. Yeah, nothing new there.
I can't move against Grindelwald. It has to be you.
Did
Whoa.
you do the voiceovers?
The sound just worked. It was so weird. Oh, this part! This is the best part. This is the best part.
I know.
The entire trailer. I can't believe they did this. I'm so excited about it. See, this
Talk
is the
about
kind
it.
of stuff where it connects to the original movies, and I'm like, yes, I love that because they got Jamie Campbell Bower and Toby something. Can't remember his last name. Who played the young Grindelwald and the young Dumbledore. They got them back for this movie, and no one knew until this trailer dropped.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, and I really like the idea that this is still what Dumbledore is seeing in the mirror.
Is young Grindelwald.
Yeah, he sees young Grindelwald. He sees old Grindelwald. He sees all Grindelwald.
He's
It's
all
just, it's a constant. It hasn't changed what he sees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So he saw this the same as a teenager as he still does in his 40s, 50s? That he's in right now? Yeah.
40s.
And it's safe to assume that he sees them all the way through the rest of his life.
That's crazy.
That's love.
So sad. That's
Or
love.
he sees a pair of socks.
Yeah, it could change.
But this is interesting that this is in here, especially for how they botched it PR-wise early on with questions being raised. Oh, if this, is clearly going to be a lot about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, like, are we going to get a lot of evidence that they were a thing? And that whole debacle, we remember, that was like, just come out and say, like, it's a part of their character, or don't say anything.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, don't say anything. His name is Toby Regbo. So there you go, Toby. Sorry, I forgot. He's listening. I told him to listen.
Send him a tweet.
Yo, Toby, we love you.
Hey, Tobes.
Tobes, come on the show.
He was also in a TV show called Rain.
Ooh. Yeah.
That was a good show.
All right, look.
So then we roll out of... So here's the older, middle Dumbledore and middle Grindelwald not seeing each other, but Dumbledore seeing similar age Grindelwald in the mirror now in current timeline of the movie.
Young Grindelwald is so much cuter. Just
And
gonna
then
throw that out there.
We roll out into the streets where I think this kind of falls back to where we saw Tina earlier as well, with this Zowa kind of wreaking havoc and doing more of said havoc.
I like the fact that Newt is kind of looking at this, and he's not scared of it. Everybody in the background is running away from this. Presumably, those are all the no-mages. And Newt is kind of looking at this thing. If you freeze frame it, he's like, "What in the hell are you doing?" Like he's like, "Oh my god, really?" And that's I love that about Newt. Like he's fearless. Everybody's running away and he's walking towards it.
Yeah, he looks at it as an opportunity to save the animal more than anything, because they wouldn't be doing this if it didn't feel threatened.
Yeah.
Is his mentality, it seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty good call on his face there. And then we move back into this office that's in a sewer with a huge water source. I
don't think we narrowed that down.
Confused.
We're still gonna have to just watch the movie and find out where that's from.
Yeah, maybe it connects to the sewers that we saw earlier with Tina and Newt. I don't know. It's
Who knows?
It's somewhere, and there's some water that probably shouldn't be there.
True story.
It keeps rising up fast.
Yeah.
So then we see Newt and Tina running through somewhere. This could potentially be the Paris, or what do we decide that one place was with the animals all around the top?
The French Ministry of
French
Magic.
Ministry?
French Ministry, yeah.
By the way, guys, I did not find that, but I have a theory.
What?
Yeah, I have a theory that it's right below the Louvre.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they're running, and I believe we've seen parts of this scene here as well.
Of the what are they, like the stacks in the middle?
Yeah, like the big moving stacks.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to get some important files. That would be a fun plot point.
It feels very Star Wars-y to me.
Gotta
Like,
get the files.
go climb up there and get the power source.
Right. And then for those of you following along at home, that's 1 minute and 26 seconds into the trailer so far.
All right. So then we move forward and we see a scene that we've seen before, someone walking off the bus. Disapparating, which this looks like the same bus that Newt and Dumbledore kind of hung out in earlier. So I'm assuming it's maybe one of them.
Yeah, I think we thought it was the first time we saw the scene, actually.
Yeah, and it looked like Newt was stepping out right at the end there as well.
And then
that's Dumbledore. And
We're brilliant. We're so smart.
But why take the bus if you're just going to apparate?
I think they met on the bus. It was a secret meeting
we
place.
didn't meet here. We just met here.
Met here.
So then we see some drab greenery.
Nice.
And it gets brighter a little bit. And we've got Newt and Kowalski kind of just taking a stroll to what looks to be a manky old pail. And hopefully you don't have motion sickness. And they use a port key.
Sweet.
Cool.
Very cool.
This November, back in New Zealand, got a little mountain shot. We've got an umbrella and the rain shots above.
Classic.
This was something new as well, I believe, right? We have, it
Yeah.
looks like Newt doing some kind of sparkle glitter magic from his mouth.
Trademarked.
this
Sparkle
is
glitter magic.
sparkle glitter magic. I love it.
And Kowalski is just like, what in the what?
You know what I love about this is that in throughout this entire sequence, if you freeze it right on Newt's face, and you can kind of see, I want to say this is a beast.
That's what I was thinking.
This is a
yeah,
particular
You can
beast.
see something.
Yeah, it's like a translucent, floating in the air, kind of really here, not there. Like I'm using up all my pixie dust and I'm going to die afterwards, But I think that's really cool, and I would really love to learn the name of this beast.
Could it be a niffler?
No, this is not a niffler.
I mean, the fact that it's all gold like that makes me think there's more about nifflers that we haven't seen. And we know that they're going to be in the movie, and maybe it's an infant niffler kind of thing.
He looks
The
like
baby nifflers are the magic gold dust.
he looks like a gold Groot from Guardians of the
like
Galaxy.
that. It
Oh,
did.
okay.
I thought the
I hadn't
exact
gotten
same
to
thing.
Yeah, no, I needed to go a little bit further to see this other close-up view. I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. It looks Grooty.
Looks Groody.
Not to be confused with groovy.
No, very, very different.
Groody, not groovy.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. That's pretty cool looking. So then we have the scene back at Hogwarts with Ministry officials. We assume apparating onto the bridge, then walking in. We've got, I don't know if that was Dumbledore walking in, pushing his face through a wall. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, I did. I don't know where that could be. Where does that look like? It
Looks
is
like in Hogwarts somewhere. Or no, I guess not. It could be like in a loft somewhere.
Is this?
I don't know.
Does this look like the?
Maybe this is how you get into the safe house.
Like,
That's
bring it
true.
back to that safe house.
I
I
was.
don't know. That's all I got.
I was gonna
Must be
say
important.
maybe this is like in the Leaky Cauldron in London, and he's taken some way into Diagon Alley. The only reason I thought about the Leaky Cauldron is, remember in movie 3 when Harry, he kind of schools the monster book of monsters, and then the cleaning lady comes up there, she knocks on the door, opens it, and then she's like, "I'll come back later." Like, this looks like that little hallway. That's what I was getting at. So, but I don't know why people would be going through walls in it. I'm just
Because it's
saying.
cool.
Yeah.
And we can do it visually with CGI and make it look convincing. So might as well.
I mean, if it saves you like 5 minutes of walking, why wouldn't you go through a wall?
So we have more Newt and Dumby chit-chatting about something. So right there we saw what's her actual name? Nagini's actual name?
Maledictus?
Claudia Kim?
Oh.
That's the character's name.
No, Nagini's her name.
We know that for sure.
No, that's the name we've been given. That's the name that's on her poster.
Okay. I thought we had seen another name for
I thought-
her at some
The
point.
Maledictus.
The
The
Maledictus.
Maledictus.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe what I was thinking of. But so we have her standing in some kind of room, and someone comes through a wall and grabs her, or is being grabbed by her. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
And then we have some beast action on Newt's wand. What is going on there?
Yeah, he's got some sort of a tassel on the end of his wand. Maybe it's a piece of bait for the Zowu, and he's trying to capture him, because the very next shot we see the Zowu up close. And I am so glad that we're seeing this creature up close, because I really like the fact that they're still having beasts in these films, like these kind of beasts.
Yeah, I was thinking it looked like right when you were saying bait, I was like, it looks like a little cat toy, right?
Right. Or, like a
Bell.
snack or a piece of food or something that's really going to draw his attention. And Newt is trying to capture this thing.
We've got Newt coming out of the suitcase, seeing Tina. She's reading a book. They're talking about the future.
And
There's our water swimming scene that we've seen since the beginning.
And
we jump out of the water.
we're currently just 149 into the trailer right now, for those of you following along.
Talking about future will change. We have, looks like maybe a flashback to World War I, potentially, just by seeing planes flying over and bombing. I would expect that to be a flashback of some sorts to give Theseus and Newt some context on their relationship history.
That would be cool.
And it's really the first time we're seeing the Muggle weaponry, the Muggle use of force in this series. Even if it is a flashback, I really like seeing that and how it affected these characters, or that particular character in that particular scene. Because, witches and wizards, they are probably not accustomed to seeing planes coming down on cities and bombing them. So kind of wondering what is going through, it looks like, Newt's head at this point.
So then we have some kind of a bird foot that lands, and there's someone, it looks like Newt laying on the ground. Some kind of creature foot steps down near him. Future will change forever is what the words have now spelled out for us. We see our classic in the round Grindelwald talking to potential followers. We see angry face Credence. He's saying grr and anger stuff. And then we have
Actual quotes there.
grr and anger stuff. And it looks like he takes something, throws it, and I think this is again the clips being cut in a way to mislead you a bit, but I don't know. Potentially he's doing something that creates this large creature kind of in this indoor location. Whatever that. I don't think we've seen that one before, or if we have, it's been really, really quickly. I wonder if that's the one he ends up swimming on.
No clue.
It might be. Kind of hard to tell. We've got some brotherly love. Got some glory days at Hogwarts, flying around on brooms. A bunch of kids running around. I don't know. Kind of hard to get any context. These are like tenth of a second scenes.
But it's really cool that we're seeing students going about their day at Hogwarts as day-to-day things. Like, you see the Quidditch team flying in the background, the students running to the courtyard or somewhere outside. They're just trying to maybe go out and have some fun after their classes are over, or they're trying to see something, they're trying to chase something. It's just wonderful to see Hogwarts in its own element, even if it is for only like 2 seconds in the trailer.
So let me see. Lita walking down that auditorium area. We've got some water action. Was that Tina in the water?
Queenie
Hard to
looks
tell.
like.
This right here.
Oh wait,
I do not know who that is.
Her hair's too long to be Tina, so I
I
take
thought
that
it
back.
was.
It's
don't
black
know.
hair.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe an Inferi?
Hard
I'm
to tell who
kidding.
that is. But then we have Tina and Newt looking on at something. I'm not exactly sure where they're at. I wonder if they're maybe somehow in that auditorium, kind of looking out over the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting this auditorium to be like 80% of the movie at this
That
point.
and rooftops.
Rooftops,
And
auditorium,
sewers.
sewers. That's
Yeah,
all I
yeah,
want to
it's
see
true.
in this movie. That's
3
it.
minutes of Hogwarts.
Maybe,
Oh, yeah,
maybe
Hogwarts too.
maybe Hogwarts and a street level scene or two.
Yeah.
That's it. I want
Yeah.
mostly auditorium. Save your money for those effects.
So then we have very, very distraught Queenie.
Aw,
Sad Queenie.
it is. I wonder if she's going through like an internal struggle. Like she is swung to the other side, yet she wants to remain loyal to either Jacob or her sister.
This is the same shot we saw before, and I
Yeah.
thought then that it was someone like in her mind, like trying to
Yeah.
get to her.
Infiltrating.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's seeing someone's thoughts.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah,
Like seeing something rough.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for someone, so she can, without even wanting to, read pretty much everyone's minds, right? I mean, it's just like a wide open door, which makes me wonder if someone uses like occlumency against her or legitimacy against her, like if that is really detrimental to her personally, kind of thing. Like it's
Right.
She looks like she's definitely distraught, potentially could be in pain, but definitely conflicted about something. She's not happy.
Right, right.
Sad Queenie.
Sad Queenie. So then we have a scene that we saw, I think, for the first time in the last trailer with the two brothers, Scamander doing this cool fist pound to the ground, fire, pyrotechnic display.
In a graveyard, can we say that? Like,
Yeah.
there are tombstones and crosses and things like that. So I wonder why, like, all of these or all of those particular scenes, all of these real cool effects / fight scenes are in graveyards.
That's where it's at.
I don't know.
Then we see the Niffler coming out of the case, which I think we talked about last time, potentially is some kind of distraction or just create some havoc for some purpose, potentially. And then we have, looks like, new followers of Grindelwald disapparating out of the auditorium that we're going to spend the whole movie in.
Yes.
And then we see, so this looks like it's more confirmation that Newt and Tina are in the auditorium and or at least are listening in. I doubt they're going to sign a waiver and join the team. That's just my guess, though.
And then I know these next series of shots. I was going through them are really quick in succession. I mean, we see a lot of action effects / running and the scene that we've seen before with Lita Lestrange telling Newt, what was it?
You're so good, Newt. You wouldn't
The
see
bit where she
bad
says you've
in-
never met a beast you couldn't
You've never
tame.
met a beast you didn't like, Newt.
A monster that you couldn't find a way to love.
Never
Yeah,
met
there
a
you go.
monster you didn't love, Newt. Verbatim.
Verbatim.
how do I get the audio to work right there?
Yeah. Real weird.
Really intermittent.
And it sounds so oddly like Gretchen.
It's really
Gretchen
strange.
with a fake English accent.
Fake, what?
I mean, no, it's legit. Total
Legit.
legit.
100% real.
100% real. I am Zoe Kravitz. She's not British either, guys.
Yeah.
So here we see it looks like Credence and Nagini on the left, and Grindelwald doing his really cool blue fire Elsa Queen fire dance, and it looks like she might be trying to convince him not to go over there. Like it looks like she's kind of trying to convince him not to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He looks conflicted, and it looks like she's holding his hand.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
at least from here. There's Theseus looking on in this auditorium that 90% of the movie is likely in.
Let's get him.
So here's more of the cool blue fire. So obviously we've seen some of the dress rehearsals for the pyrotechnics and things, and so this is the test run that Grindelwald's doing. So I guess the Zoa also has magic or fire elements, and I think that's what we saw come out of that fireball earlier. So at least from the way this looks. Which also makes me think the scene with Nicholas Flamel that maybe this beast was involved by the look of the sparks coming off. At least we got about 20 seconds left, probably 5 of which are the credit screen, or maybe 10, honestly.
Looks like we're back in the auditorium.
More auditorium.
Yeah.
More Pickett jumping around, which they look looking cool. I wonder if I can't tell what they were doing, but they were playing. Maybe can't really tell. So we got two wizards fighting something off in the distance. Got a
Possibly
window.
some more brotherly magic.
Yeah, it looked like potentially the two brothers Scamander. We've got a window being blasted out. So here we have a scene with a bunch of different people. We see Nagini, Newt, Theseus, Tina, Kowalski, looks like a couple random ministry workers potentially as well. I would assume this is out on Hogwarts grounds.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah.
More cool fire. Can't really tell where it is. Maybe in the city. Looks like the building there could be the same style that we saw the Lethifold covering earlier. Just architecture-wise, looks similar. Hard to tell, though. We've got the classroom scene with young Dumbledore. We've got, again, what we're assuming is, I think, Credence on whatever this water beast is.
Right.
For this joyride.
I want to say Kelpie, I think.
Right, I think I've heard that as well. I think we've got Dumbledore with his low brim hat looking on at some gigantic fireball. We've got, I think this is the guy that we have a scene with in one of the earlier trailers that maybe Credence goes after almost. I think this is the room that gets blown apart.
Yeah.
And this guy was still. So I think this might have been someone that was going after Credence. Potentially, it's hard to tell.
It is.
This is also again like an eighth of a second, if
yeah, literally.
Very quick.
Looks like brothers Scamander doing some more firework together.
Auditorium magic.
Yep.
Which times we've seen them working together. It's hard. Like I'm still confused as to if they're gonna end up on the same team, if they just like make it work for this movie and split. I don't know. I'm interested to see where they start and end on this movie.
Well, and also, correct me if I'm wrong, but has Theseus had a single line? He hasn't actually said anything yet, right?
Yeah. I don't think we've heard anything from him.
Because I don't understand. I don't know what his character is going to be like at all. So yeah, it is just a lot of shots of them working together and not much else.
And then we have our Deathly Hallows smoke ring.
Very bold Hedwig's theme.
So that's pretty much it. I've now watched it twice. Once at regular speed. Oh, we do have a real quick.
Luke, there's always a end cap.
Just cut me off at any time. So we've got some flying. These look like these could be drawers from some of those tower stack things potentially.
Yeah, it looks like they're back in the ministry maybe.
Yeah, and
and they're kind of running out the door. Is that Tina with Newt right there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of protects them from getting obliterated by these drawers. And Theseus is there with his wand pointed. Looks like he maybe helped save them. And Tina knocks him on his butt and ties him up.
And Newt is loving it. Newt is eating it up.
That was the greatest moment of my life.
That's
heard it here, folks.
Put him in his place.
You heard it here first.
His face right there. Good grief.
And
awesome.
Yeah. And that is it, I
November
believe.
16th.
There is a lot, like we said, there is a lot happening in this trailer. We're going to be breaking it down probably over the next episode as well, talking about some of the things further in detail. So before we let everybody go this week, I want to ask, does this trailer make everybody more excited to see the movie in November?
No.
What do you mean, no?
I feel like I've seen too much of it now.
It's too much. Like, I was excited after the first one.
Whatever. We always hear this. Oh, we're receiving too much of this, too much of that. we already know the plot of the movie. No, we actually don't. That's the thing that we don't know. That's
I don't
the
think
big
I know
unknown.
the plot of the movie, but it's just like I don't need to see this much to be excited about it. I didn't need to see anything to be excited about it. They could have put those posters up, and I would have said, "Yeah, this movie looks awesome. I can't believe they released those posters."
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm already excited about it. I think it looks great.
Yeah. I hope it's not too challenging to avoid spoilers, because I don't plan on seeing this for about 2 weeks until after it comes out.
Bailey,
Wow.
I'm waiting until Luke gets here. We're gonna go together.
Luke, go earlier.
So what you're saying is we won't have a breakdown episode for 2 weeks after the fact.
Terrance, you and I can.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it. We got it.
Go ahead and do it without us.
We got it, Gretchers.
That's
We
fine.
got
Look at
it.
you guys. You're not real podcast hosts if you're not going to see the movie the minute you can.
I feel like this movie is going to be filled with a lot of emotion. You know, we're gonna get into some of these characters. You know,
I hope so.
we're really gonna get into what makes them tick, their allegiances, the kind of internal struggles that they're dealing with right now, especially Queenie. I am so interested in Queenie, especially like you mentioned, Gretchen. She isn't. Alison Sudol has not mentioned anything at all about Queenie, so she's been really tight-lipped, and that just makes me even more excited about the character and where that character is going to appear in this movie and how they're going to appear.
Yeah, I'm interested in Queenie, Nagini, and that's it. The ones that end in E.
And Pickett. I feel like we've seen a lot of Pickett across these trailers, and I want to know where he plays a role.
True story.
Pickety.
I think overall, I am excited after seeing this. I would say I was a lot more excited after the last one. We do see a lot here. I'm a little surprised that they include the reveal that it is Nagini. It's just a little surprising that it's revealed in the trailer. I mean, I get that's kind of like, to me, it seems like a pretty big thing, but maybe that's just to us avid readers podcast, like, you know, like the people that are still talking about this stuff every single week. The common movie watcher, Harry Potter fan, isn't necessarily going to be catching all of these things, and Nagini's something they can latch onto and pull them in as well. That, hey, I remember that, you know, from the other movies. Gretchen makes some good points on, like, hey, everything doesn't have to connect back to the main story. For the most part, agree. I feel like this one's kind of harmless in the fact that the Wizarding World is such a small realm. Like, is the feeling I get. Like, yeah, it's bigger than you expect, but even still, like, it seems like things roll directly from what Grindelwald was doing to directly what Voldemort was doing. There's going to be some overlap, and I feel like that's where I can justify the Nagini thing being involved here. I am surprised that they put it in the trailer, though. That's my main takeaway with it.
Not to get too much into it, but I think my problem with it is that I'm pretty sure she already said this, but J.K. Rowling said, like, yeah, I knew that all along. I don't believe that. I
hate when those statements are made.
It doesn't make any sense that you created this snake character, wrote 7 books about it, and then 10 years, 15 years later, you're going to say, oh, yeah, that snake was a woman the entire time. But remember that scene when Voldemort milked the snake? You're telling me that snake was a woman?
Oh, man, that's messed up.
Right?
I don't doubt that Jo plans a lot ahead, but I think this is a stretch to say she's had this in the works the entire time.
Yes. Other things, I definitely believe her. But this one, I'm like, I don't know, Jo. Tweet us at Hogwarts Radio. Tell us it's real. Send me your notes with dates.
Notarized notes.
Notarized notes only, please. Fax it over.
Well, we would love to hear everybody's reaction to this. There's many ways you can get a hold of us over at Hogwarts Radio. Our talkback line is area code 210-876-3377, and leave us a voicemail about anything that we've discussed here today, or if you have a general thought about the trailer, we would really love to hear from you. You can also stay up to date with us over on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. That way you can stay up to date with every episode that's released. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to our special trailer discussion. Once again, I'm Terrance Pinkston.
I'm Bailey Riddle.
I'm Luke Hogan.
And I'm Gretchen Rush.
That does it for episode 215. We are going to be back in 2 weeks with episode 2 16.
That was bloody brilliant.
Codswallop.